SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information.
Welcome everyone to our look into the NFL Week 1 opening odds as the regular season is finally here. I'm Jordan Sharp. Thank you for joining me, and it's heading off into an exciting Week 1 of action here in the NFL, and I'm going to give you a quick look into some of the largest spreads, the biggest totals, and some of the holes that I see in some of these spreads here where you might be able to start looking for some of the value here coming into Week 1 of the regular season. The largest spreads right now looking at the Ravens and Broncos on opening night, where the Broncos are 9-point favorites. The Patriots and Bills come in from Buffalo, where the Buffalo Bills are 10.5-point underdogs in this game without both their starting quarterbacks here, with E.J. Manuel and Kevin Kolb both nursing injuries. And the Raiders and Colts from Indianapolis. Indy is a 10-point favorite in that game, which that spread has steadily risen, obviously, throughout the preseason because of how bad the Oakland Raiders have been playing. Now, with totals, when it comes to that, only two totals coming in at above 50 points here in this game. Of course, the big NFC South matchup between the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints has a total of 54 points, whereas the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins are the other game that comes in above 50 points. That total is set at 51 right now, and at just under 50 points, that previously mentioned game between the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills comes in at 49 points. Now, some of these value plays I see not really with any of those games except the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. A couple of the books, like the Greek, for instance, have these odds at 53.5 right now. That might be a grounds to have an overbet here with that extra half point. You can still get it at -110 at the Greek right now. That's only 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals for each team to cover that points. That's right at 54. And if you can get it at 53.5, or if it goes down prior to kickoff here within the next week, I really like the odds on the over in that game. Obviously, it's going to be a huge shootout. The New Orleans Saints defense good, but not great, as is the Falcons. Maybe both teams slightly below average on defense, so I really could see a higher scoring game in that one. The total's pretty sharp, but if it gets below 54 points, if you can find it, I'd take a stab at it. But a couple of totals also might be looking a little bit low here to me, and that's Miami taking on the Cleveland Browns, as well as the Cincinnati Bengals and the Chicago Bears. Both totals exactly at 41 points. I think that could be extremely undervaluing these two teams. When the Bengals and Bears played last year, they skied over the total. Miami and Cleveland, both very improved offenses, although the trends are not on our side with this one. However, 41 points, only a couple of touchdowns and field goals for each two teams. Miami should have a pretty good offense this year in the second year under Ryan Tannehill, with Brandon Weeden, his second year, coming in with Norv Turner as the offensive coordinator. They've been putting up some impressive totals so far, with the exception of these two teams' Week 3 hiccups with the Dolphins and the Browns here in the preseason. I think the chances of those two games going over the total, pretty good chance. And one of my really good value picks here for is early lean here. However, I really feel good about this game, and that's the Cardinals taking on the St. Louis Rams in St. Louis. Cardinals coming in as 4.5-point underdogs. I think that's extremely undervaluing a team that's going to be very improved this year under Bruce Arians and Carson Palmer as the quarterback. I think they can come into St. Louis, a team that might struggle on offense early here, as they lost a ton of offense from last year, and Arizona has covered 3 of their last 5 trips in St. Louis. So take a look at that one as well as all the other picks that I've mentioned. That's your look at the NFL Week 1 opening odds. Thanks for joining me this time. I'm Jordan Sharp, and make sure you check out all my other Week 1 value plays here coming up at SBRforum.com.